I'm giving you Mom in the 80s. I'm giving you Stranger Things. I'm giving you Saved by the Bell. Like, you already know, girl. You already know. Hey, what's up you guys, it's your girl Gigi and welcome back to my channel where every week I'll be doing a review of the new HBO show Euphoria starring Zendaya. So this week I decided to recreate another makeup look like last week because that did really well. So I decided to recreate this look. It'll show up somewhere over here of Maddy's where she did this like reddish orangish eyeliner look. So I tried to do that here, you know. I feel like I kind of I'm giving you guys more like Diana Ross or something right now. I'm giving you bad perm in the 80s. I'm giving you too much blush of the 80s, but I tried my best. So if you want to see how I did this look and hear my commentary for this week's episode 7, just keep on watching. So this week we got Cassie's backstory. So that was interesting. It kind of wasn't what I expected. I don't know what I expected, but like I kind of knew her life was going to be a mess because her mom was obviously an alcoholic from the very first time that we saw her. And to be honest, like I know that like her and Lexi are sisters and stuff, but I feel like up until this episode when we got Cassie's whole backstory, I didn't really see Lexi and Cassie having very many like sisterly moments. I know that in last week's episode, McKay's episode, Lexi protected Cassie when she was having that whole thing with Daniel at the Halloween party, and like that was great. That was a great sisterly thing to do, but I feel like that was the only time that we've really seen them interact as sisters besides just like being in the same house, if that makes any sense. It was nice to see their relationship a little bit in this episode, and I feel like it definitely, hold on, bro, my makeup is all over the place. I don't know how I expect to do this, but girl, where the hell is my beauty blender? Oh my god, I really should have like had everything ready in one place before I started this, but I'm a dummy. Also, it's 2 a.m. while I'm filming this, so yeah. So I think that seeing Cassie's backstory really kind of gave us an insight on why she is the way she is. It was interesting because she is this very beautiful girl who, like Maddy, was like used to having attention on her. She like competed by doing like ice skating as a child. Unlike Maddy, she was very self-conscious and not ever really happy with herself, mainly because she grew up early, I guess you can say, and immediately as she started going through puberty, the men in her family started acting differently towards her, which is like so disgusting. And also because her parents were going through a difficult marriage and she did not have the best example of what a loving marriage between two people were like. So I think that really kind of explains her whole relationship with McKay and how she kind of lets him treat her like even though she knows that she kind of deserves better, but at the same time she doesn't. Like I think she genuinely doesn't think that she deserves better, even though she's so beautiful. She just like can't see that because her self-esteem was destroyed like from a very early age. It was really sad. Oh my god, like her parents didn't get along because her mom was an alcoholic who drank because her dad couldn't keep a steady job, so he was always kind of like, money was always super dodgy. Basically her parents ended up getting divorced and she would see her dad really often in the beginning, and then as time went on, so as she kind of grew a little older into the present day Cassie, she never really heard from him anymore until one day he called her in the middle of the night and asked her to open the garage door so he could come into the house and like steal silverware. And to me it was very obvious that like he was struggling, probably on drugs. He was gonna steal the silverware and like the plates and china and stuff from their house so he could sell them to either make money because he doesn't have a job or to buy drugs. And poor Cassie just kind of had to like deal with all of that, and it was really unfair to her because she is a kid. I think when the show starts, what is she, a junior or a senior? So that means that she can't be more than like 16 or 17 years old, and she's dealing with her dad like contacting her in the middle of the night only to do some shady shit like that. Like, she's genuinely been through a lot, and like I was surprised. I wasn't expecting her character to have all of this like underlying like grief, I guess. She's totally one of those girls that like pretends like everything's okay even though it's not, and like in a lot of the scenes featuring her and her friends earlier in the season, we kind of see that she's more of a support to them than they are to her, and when they try to like offer support to her, it's not in a healthy way. Like when her and Maddy were at the carnival and they did acid and that whole thing, you know, it seems like she genuinely has like nobody. Like the only person she has is McKay, and he treats her like shit. It's just terrible, and it's so sad because it really looks like she's about to like go down the same path that her mom did, which is like, no, we do not want that for her. Like, no, I really don't want that for her. So that was a big chunk of the episode. Then after that, we kind of move on to Rue. So we see Rue is kind of going through some of the symptoms of her bipolar disorder. So the thing with bipolar disorder is you have really high highs and really low lows. So times when you're acting very like optimistic, or just pretty much you're in a manic state, and then when you're extremely depressed. So we see Rue going through that because she's been clean for a while. She hasn't been taking her bipolar medicine, so I think this is like the first time in a while that she's experiencing something like this. And honestly, it was very hard to watch. Like, I think the manic parts were a little bit better just because they did this whole thing where they had her be like a detective, like an old like 60s detective with Lexi, and just trying to like put together the whole situation with Nate and Rue, with Nate and Jules. And it's honestly really funny. Like, she like gathers all this evidence. Like, it reminds me of that scene in, is it in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where one of the characters is like in front of like a big like wall of like shit and like is going crazy trying to like put all the pieces together, and then he's just like, but that's exactly what that reminded me of, and I thought it was so funny. We basically saw Rue get caught in like a Love Island marathon, and she couldn't bring herself to get up at all from bed. She watched Love Island for like 21 hours straight. She didn't leave her room at all until the point where like her bladder was practically bursting from needing to pee so bad. And that was just, to me, like so raw and like so real. Like, I loved how they included those shots of like the inside of her body, even though to me that was like so graphic and like hard to watch, but it was like really cool to kind of see that. It was an interesting way to portray that, and I really like felt it, you know, like I felt that so hard. Finally, her mom like kind of catches on because Rue gets to the point where she feels like she can't hold her pee anymore. Her kidney is basically about to like fail, and she's like dragging herself out of her room into the hallway, and she just like collapses. Like, she can't move anymore, and her mom finds her, takes care of her, gives her a bath and everything. And I was like, thank God. I was like so worried about her, but like that just shows how difficult it is to go through something like bipolar disorder. I've been through like stages of depression, but I don't think any of it can compare to that. I think the scariest part about Rue's whole bout of depression is that it's basically triggered by the fact that Jules leaves the town for a little bit after the Halloween party to go hang out with some of her old friends from her old town, and Rue kind of just doesn't know how to cope with the fact that Jules is gone, and that's really scary. Like, their codependency has gotten to like indescribable levels at this point. Okay, this isn't very shimmery, but it's gonna have to do, I think. I could have sworn I had like a white. Okay, I found this old crusty palette, so let's try with this one. I'm just gonna lightly go over it because I don't want to overpower the color that I already put down. So the reason why Jules leaves to go see her friends from her old town is because she's also kind of feeling depressed, but I think she also just felt like she needed space from Rue. And what's funny about that is like while she's there, she meets this girl, Anna, who is basically just like a Rue knockoff, and it makes her realize that she really misses Rue. To be honest though, I didn't think that seeing Jules's hometown friends was all that interesting. I did like that the girl Anna was played by that girl in Trinkets though, because I think that girl's so cute. Otherwise, I wasn't like particularly interested by what was happening with Jules in this episode. Moving on to Kat. Kat and Maddy get into a fight, which was like bound to happen because they're both kind of being bad friends to each other, but it comes at the absolute worst time when Cassie's trying to ask all her friends and Lexi for advice because she is pregnant, which they hinted at in last week's episode, and I was like, no. They've low-key been foreshadowing this for so many episodes now, so I'm not even surprised. Girl, there was way too much teenage romping for there to not be a single case of pregnancy. Okay, like it's just not realistic. The only person that Cassie tells the pregnancy to is McKay and her mother. We don't actually see her telling her mom, but we just see her getting comforted by her mom, and her mom like immediately knows, you know what I mean? It's one of those moments. And McKay is just kind of like a huge dick about it. Like the only thing he could say is me, 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 me. He's basically like, I'm in school, I have a career to worry about. Like what about her? She's also in school. She's like about to like go to college, you know, like this is her future too. And I felt so bad for Cassie because she was just like crying, and she was like, I know like I was never gonna keep it or whatever, but like I just wanted a moment to dream about it. And I was like, she's so unhappy with her life, like she is so unhappy, and McKay just made it so much worse. Like he was such a dick about it, but like I didn't expect anything less from McKay because he has been proven to be a huge douche stick. She's gonna have an abortion, like girl. I just hope for her sake that nobody else finds out about this, because she, oh my god, she'd be ruined at that school. Like she already has such a bad reputation for no reason. Sorry if this video is kind of like boring today. I feel like since it's like so late, I'm not like explaining how I normally explain. I don't know, I feel like this video is just coming out weird. We'll see how it turns out. After Kat and Maddy get into that fight, we see Kat trying to do her whole cam girl thing with some guy, and it's really weird because I think for the first time the guy wants to like hide his identity, and so he just like has like a completely black screen and it's just his voice, and it's like really weird, and he makes her like fully undress, and like Kat gets really uncomfortable and just like ends the call, obviously because she's now doubting herself again. She's starting to feel less confident again because of that fight with Maddy, but also because that was so weird. Like it was so weird. I was so uncomfortable watching that. Like who was that? My sister was saying that she thinks that it might be someone that she knows just like creeping on her. Like she thinks it might be Nate or something, but like why would Nate do that, you know what I mean? Or like Ethan, like Ethan doesn't seem like he would do that, you know? Like it's just weird. And the guy was also offering to pay her a ton of money for this call, so I doubt that Nate or Ethan just have like so much money just laying around. They're like teenage boys, you know what I mean? Who do you guys think was on the call? Do you think that it was someone that she knows? Moving on to Fez, and oh my god, Nate needs to go to jail. That's it, point blank, period. Nate needs to be in jail. Like it's getting to a point where I'm just like so sick of his character, because every time you think that he just can't get worse, he always does. And every time I'm like, how are you just he's like not learning anything from any of the experiences that he's going through, and it's scary. Like he's really giving me like sociopath vibes. And the reason why I say that is because last episode, he manipulated everybody into getting scot-free. His freaking dad like knows something is up but isn't really telling him off about it. He's kind of just like, I hope this didn't teach you the wrong lesson. And like, what the hell does that even mean? Like, tell your son not to go turn himself in. You know that he did it. You know what I mean? Like, I think his dad is just like so fucked up like with himself, and like is way too concerned about his reputation in that town, because that town is really all that he has, you know what I mean? And he also just doesn't like Maddy, so I think he's gonna do whatever needs to be done in order to protect Nate, but he knows that Nate is in the wrong, so it's just so fucked up. Like, it's fucked. I just need somebody to put this kid in his place, you know? And poor freaking Fezco tries to do that, because once Rue figures out everything that's going on with Nate and Jules, she talks to Fez about it, and she's like, do you think you could like threaten him or something? And Fez is like he's like, no, or whatever. But then he actually does threaten Nate when Nate comes into the store, and oh my god, I was like, yes, you better tell him, you better. He was straight up like, if you don't leave Rue and her friends alone, I will kill you. And Nate was kind of just like, and Maddy was in the car watching the whole thing. It was like so intense, but also so funny, because after Fez threatened him, he was just like, that'll be $5.85 or whatever, because we were buying shit. And I was like, yes, you better, nonchalant king. Oh my god, that was so good. But then fucking Nate calls the cops on Fez, and the police come to like raid his house. And I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, oh my god, Fez deserves nothing but the best. We haven't even gotten his freaking backstory yet. He cannot be going to jail, motherfucker, over Nate. Like, somebody needs to put Nate in his place. Like, I'm about to jump into that TV, jump into that universe, and take care of this motherfucker myself, okay? I'm just so sick and tired of Nate. I saw someone on Twitter say that he is the physical embodiment of white male rage and white male privilege, and the show shows that so well without ever explicitly saying it, and it's so true. I just want to, oh my god, he's getting away with everything because he is a white privileged boy. He also has this insane rage that he just cannot control inside of him, and he's taking out on everybody that's around. Like, it's just so frightening to watch, honestly. The worst part is, like, I know he's not gonna go to jail anytime soon, because he is a central character in this show, you know? He drives a lot of the narrative. So I don't think that they're gonna be getting rid of him, whether that be killing him off or sending him to jail, you know what I mean? Luckily though, in the preview for next week, we see that Fezco is like wearing a hoodie, and he like is clocking his gun and shit, and I'm like, oh my god, is he about to go after Nate? So hopefully that happens. I will be so happy if he actually like threatens Nate, but at the same time, I'm just like so worried. I mean, to be honest though, there's not much else that Nate can do to Fez, like now that he's sold him out for drugs. Like, let's hope that this motherfucker gets what's coming to him in the next episode. Oh, because I'm just not here for it. Oh my god, I forgot to mention in the part where Jules like goes home, but while she's in the club, she starts like hallucinating that Nate is in the club with her, and they're like hooking up, like they're making out and shit, and I'm like, oh my god. Like, at first I was like, is this really happening? Is this really happening? Then I was like, there's no fucking way. Like, how would Nate know where she is, you know? And like, why would he show up there? But I think that just goes to show that like Nate is a very skilled abuser, in the sense that he makes his victims, he gives them Stockholm syndrome. He makes them want to be with him even though they know how fucked up and how vile he is. So Jules clearly still has feelings for Nate because of the whole Tyler thing, you know? She can't fully separate Tyler that she knew online and Nate now that she knows that it is Nate, you know? And that's just like fucking with her right now while she's on these drugs, and it's so scary because that just shows how vulnerable she is. And immediately, like the next day after she has all these hallucinations and hooks up with that bootleg Rue, aka Anna, aka that girl from Trinkets, she calls Rue and is just like, I miss you so much. Like she's using Rue as a coping mechanism because she's going through these like spurts of Stockholm syndrome for Nate, and it's just so, I don't even know how I feel. Like I just want Nate to go to jail. He's such a freaking, oh my god, he has all of our characters suffering, like suffering. And I'm just worried now that Fezco threatened him that he's gonna go after Rue, because he's obviously gonna connect the dots that Rue was the one that told Fez, you know what I mean? So I think that's the end of this episode, ladies. Let's discuss what's been going on in the comments. How do you guys think the season finale is gonna go? The preview, I feel like, didn't really give away much, but it shows that Fez is probably about to go fuck Nate up, and then everything's kind of coming to like a climax, I guess, if this episode wasn't the episode where it all came to a climax. So yeah, I'm really curious to know what you guys think. I'm gonna try to finish up this look and then show you guys the final result. 1 second. I feel like this is very Maddy-esque. Now to finish off this look, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do like a half up, half down scrunchy thing. Like I thought that would be cute. Or if I did like, in this past episode, Maddy had like 2 clips, but like up here, and I thought that was so cute. Let's try this first and see how I like it. This is very like baby doll. I feel like a kindergartner or something. Yeah, I feel very young with my clips up this high. I kind of like it though, but I feel like it's just a little too similar to what I did last time. So let's try to do with the scrunchie. This look feels like very 80s to me with this now. So we'll see how I feel, but I kind of hate this. Yeah, let's go back with the original idea. Let's go back with the clips. Ooh, I'm actually kind of like, what if I just do like a flip over thing? I feel so 80s right now. What the hell? Like something about this look just like screams 80s to me. My hair is just like really doing it for me too. I want it to look like effortless. I don't know if it's working. I feel very Madonna in the 80s right now. What do you guys think? I guess this is the final look, ladies. Here's how it came out. Oh, I didn't set it. How am I thinking? I didn't set it or put highlighter on. Hold up. Okay, you guys, so I guess this is the final look. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I'll see you next week for the final episode of Euphoria. Cannot wait for the season finale. I'm so excited. So I'll see you guys next week to talk about it. Thank you so much for watching again. I'll see you in the next one.